In the homework, you're working with data about average commute time. And one of the questions is, why is the commute time different in different states? So we have some confidence intervals, and we can look to see if the commute time is the same in different places. And clearly, there's a difference between the commute time in New York and in South Dakota. So let's look at some graphs. This is the average commute time so the darker the color is, the longer the commute. So it goes from 17 minutes to 20 minutes is this light blue, up to 29 to 33. This is called a chloropleth map or a heat map. It's a way to visually see this data. Right? So we can tell that the coasts, California, Washington, in the Northeast, seem to have longer commutes. Illinois with Chicago has a longer commute. So this is commute time. This is that same map, but instead of showing commute time, it's showing population density. Okay, so how many people live per square mile. And you can see they look almost identical. Right, so this is commute time, and this is population density. And finally, we can look at total population. And so you do see a change here in Texas. It's kind of a lighter color here because the density in Texas isn't that strong. There's a lot of Texas that does not have people in it. But total population, Texas is in the larger category, so states with a higher population. But South Dakota and North Dakota remain on the small end of all of these. Right? So the average commute time is correlated with your population. As the population increases, we'd expect your commute time to increase. Right? It doesn't mean that population causes a commute time increase, although we might be able to kind of reason that makes sense. But we do think there's a relationship between the two things. Right, so these maps are just a way of being able to represent that data and think about it. And finally, we can take a look at this. This is a graph of the commute time intervals. Right, and what I was saying in one of the other videos, if these intervals overlap, then we can't tell that there's a statistically significant difference between them. Right? So we can't basically distinguish that there is a difference in mean commute time between Michigan and North Carolina. But we can tell that there's a difference between, say, North Dakota, which upper bound is here, and all the states after Arkansas. So it would not be a good guess to say that they're the same, because their 95% confidence interval for the mean doesn't include values for both sides. So there's not an overlap, therefore we don't think that those things are the same. With hypothesis testing, we'll be able to be much more precise, but that's just a way to get started thinking about using the confidence intervals to compare things in a meaningful way.